We be live. Shalom, shalom, everyone. Have you liked the stream? Okay, everything is good. Sorry for being a little bit late, but we're going to get started right away. Guys, have you seen this news? I'm going to get you updated for people who don't know what's going on, and then we're going to analyze it because there's a lot of misinformation being spread. People are defending the indefensible, and we're going to be here to get on the same page. Like, I'm going to look at the live chat, guys. Here in this live stream, this is a group work. It's not just me talking. Gene is here highlighting comments in the chat. Thank you so much, Gene, for your service, so that as I'm talking, people in the live chat get to add their opinions, so that you get to see my opinion, you get to see people's opinions in the chat. And also, Gene is going to be starting some of the comments as well, so that I get to read them and respond to them. So this is a dialogue, right? Wait, Nidal saying now he's trying to pay the victim. Oh yeah, play the victim. Yeah, okay, let's start. So before I get into what's happening, let's our analysis of it. Let's just watch a quick video for people who haven't been. How many people have been following this news? Do you guys know what we're talking about today? Let's just play this so that everyone is on the same page, because a lot of people are making a big deal out of this. We're going to see if it's a big deal. People are calling it fascism, the end of democracy, the end of due process, the end of free speech, and all of that. And again, we're going to be evaluating these cases one by one, and we're going to see what is the actual right judgment on this. And hold me responsible if you disagree with me. Jack is here. Hi, I like the stream. Media and film that talk about how Trump's policies make universities unattractive for exchange students. For exchange. Well, yeah, that's another topic. There are some policies that I might not agree with, but deporting anti-Israeli pro-terrorist sympathizers, I mean, if you're making universities unattractive to people who sympathize with terrorism, I say good. Okay, you don't want those people anyways. Okay, but there are some other reasons why United States is becoming unattractive. I might have some disagreements with some policies over there, but kicking these people out, if universities, I hope my universities are unattractive to terrorist sympathizers. Anyways, let's watch what's happening here, and then we analyze it. Okay.
A second pro-Palestinian activist from Columbia University is in federal immigration custody. Immigration officials detained Mohsen Mahdawi yesterday at what was supposed to be his citizenship interview in Vermont. In a TV exclusive, CBS News correspondent Lily Luciano actually spoke with Mahdawi the night before it happened. She asked him what he wanted people to hear in the event that he was detained. Listen to this.
I want people to know that the work and the activism that we have done was centered in the energy of love. I want people to
centered. Guys, remember this, okay? There's a lot of news in the media that covering this. They're making this man look like a saint, okay? And he came out and he's saying this after, he was worried about being deported right before they arrested him, okay, with 60 Minutes and stuff like that, okay? So this is after, okay? But let's look at the way that his narratives and what he was supporting before all of this happened, okay? So, and you tell me, does this guy deserve being deported or not? Okay, so let's watch this.
To know.
So, by the way, for people who didn't catch that, he was in hiding after he saw that pro-Palestine people are being deported, and then they set a trap for him, apparently. So they said, like, oh, come for your citizenship test. And then he went for his citizenship test, and they're like, gotcha. And they got him. And like he was this close to being a citizen, by the way. So they got him before he became a citizen. So let's see what happened.
That my compassion.
By the way, guys, this is a lot of people say, like, deport. And sometimes I'm like, what are you guys talking about? These are citizens. You can't deport citizens. This guy, if you say deport in the chat now, I'm on the same page with you, because this guy is not a citizen. Okay. There's no way to deport non-citizens. Like, how sometimes you guys see, like, in the UK or in France or in Germany, like, deport that guy. And like, guys, you're being unrealistic. It's undoable. That guy's unfortunately, that person has a citizenship of that country. Okay, so sometimes the deports that people mention deport in the chat, that doesn't make sense, but today it makes sense. Yes, anti-Islam, deport this guy. Okay, let's watch this.
Extended beyond the Palestinian people. My compassion is also for the Jewish people and for the Israelis as well.
Oh, okay. This is, again, remember, this is his narrative now, okay, when he was worried about being deported.
The accusation that the Palestinian cause and the pro-Palestine movement at Colombia was anti-Semitic is a false accusation.
Are you fucking kidding?
All right, Lilia is joining me here in Studio 55 to talk more about her exclusive reporting. Lilia, first of all, remarkable circumstances that you actually were able to speak to him. You didn't know that he was going to be detained. Just 24 hours later, he was.
Well, he was a protester. He gave a 60 minutes interview in late 2023, which kind of, in a way, was used to target him and accuse him of being anti-Semitic. He said everything had been taken out of context. There's these groups online that have been assembling lists and giving them to the government. And one of those groups, Beitar, told us, CBS News, in an email that he was next. And as you said, he is a permanent legal resident of the United States for more than 5 years. When Mahmoud Khalil was detained, arrested, he feared for his safety.
All right, so let's be careful. When they keep saying legal resident, they keep saying like, oh, he didn't commit anything illegal, okay? He was a legal resident. Oh, hi. Guys, don't forget to like the stream. Thank you for everybody that is liking the stream, right? But people who keep saying like he was legal, he didn't do any criminal activity, and he was here legally. They're missing the point. You don't, when it comes to somebody not being welcome in your country, committing a crime is one of those things, one of the many things on the list of countries deciding that you're not welcome here. Committing a crime is not the only thing. For example, supporting terrorism, like just by words, is not like just saying like I support this terrorist group. That is, in the United States, that is not illegal. You can't say that, and it's not a crime. However, it does make you not welcome here in this country anymore, even if it's not a crime. If you go look at the list of reasons why the executive branch might decide that your immigration status has to change and you are no longer welcome here, one of those things on that list is committing crimes. It's not the only thing. It's not the only thing. Supporting a terrorist group, even if it's not a crime, it gives the executive branch enough legal reasons to be like, yeah, okay, we don't want you here. We don't want you here. And I don't know, these people know that. A lot of, like, I see a lot of legal experts on CNN and MSNBC going like, oh, he didn't commit a crime. He didn't commit a crime. I'm like, dude, do you not? I read you the law for you guys. This is what Marco Rubio was pointing out too. Like, hey, do you think that the same reasons why we would deny your visa or your green card are the same reasons why we could remove your immigration status? And people say he was here legally. Yeah, okay, he was here legally, and now that we remove your immigration status, now if you stay here from now on, now you're going to be here illegally. That is within the power of the executive branch. What the fuck are... Oh my God. Okay, let's watch this.
He had also been enduring threats online and in person, so he went into hiding to figure out his next steps. I asked him, would you like to do an interview in the event that you're detained? And he said, well, there's a date coming up. Let's talk this day. And we showed up, and sure enough, at this, what he thought was, or what he was told would be taking the test to become a citizen, group of ICE agents showed up. And
so that test was entrapment. It wasn't a real test.
I'm not an attorney, but he went into the building for the interview. The interview started. The attorneys told us, okay, the interview has begun. We noticed that there were people outside, that there were friends of his who were there standing by, but there were also very clearly, I noticed at least a couple of agents, and there were some cars roaming. And suddenly we got a text minutes after the interview began from his attorney saying he's in handcuffs. And he was taken out by Homeland Security investigation agents, and just a whole group of agents who were masked, who showed up, arrested him. And you've probably seen the videos that his friend Christopher took. We unfortunately were on the other door by the time we came in.
Yeah, this is the video you're talking
that's the
about.
video we're talking about. By the time I showed up, and you'll see videos of me driving in, we saw this, all of these cars. There were multiple trucks taking him away. His attorney told us that they were told by the federal agents very little, but that he would be charged with the same provision as Mahmoud Khalil.
So this 18th century law that is being used to detain these individuals.
Basically, the requirement is that the Secretary of State himself has to declare you, without us, at least in the Khalil case, for sure, seeing any evidence of crimes, of hate speech, of anything of that nature.
So you see crimes, hate speech. Okay, look at this. I just asked ChatGPT, what are the reasons legally that your green card or visa can be revoked in the US? And I told it to get to the point. Okay, and it gave me 10 reasons. It says criminal activity. So that's just number one. There's 9 more things on this list other than just one: immigration fraud, national security threats, public charge, abandonment, and basically staying outside the US too long without proper reentry, visa overstay, unauthorized work, violation of visa terms, violation of visa terms, failure to notify USCIS to address change, becoming inadmissible for health, criminal, or security reasons. And so I wanted to clarify. Then I asked ChatGPT, what about support for a terrorist group? And it says, yes, supporting a terrorist group is a major reason for visa or green card revocation. Revocation, is that how you read that? Even indirect support, like donations, promotion, or association, can get you deemed inadmissible, placed in removal proceedings, denial, naturalization, permanently banned from reentry. There you go. That's it. That was so easy. I just checked with ChatGPT. Like, how hard is that to check these things? God fucking damn it. They keep saying, like, oh, he didn't commit any crime. I don't fucking care. He's a terrorist sympathizer. But let's watch this.
It just says that.
Guys, make sure you like this stream, because right now on media, there's so many people acting like, oh my God, this is the end of free speech. It's not the end of free speech. It would be the end of free speech in the United States if they claimed that his opinions on Hamas or on terrorist activities are a crime. They're not saying it's a crime. That would be the end of free speech. It's like, hey, even though it's not a crime, we don't have to welcome you in this fucking... Like, what do you think? Do you think countries do not have the right to decide, like, you're not a good fit for this country? Do you think governments of countries do not have the right to decide, like, yeah, okay, the things that you stand for, we don't like that here. We allowed every fucking country to do this. Like, hey, if Saudi... Like, if other countries did this, people are like, hey, well, they don't like shit. They should be able to decide that they don't want you here. They wouldn't say, like, this is a violation of free speech, like, oh, you disrespected the values and customs, so of course they don't want you here. So how come other countries get to do that, but United States can't? Huh? This is not... Guys, don't go around and tell people that, maybe these people don't deserve free speech. No, the First Amendment applies to all in United States, even non-citizens. But that doesn't mean that we should... That only means that we're not going to charge you with a crime. It doesn't mean that we should just tolerate you staying here. Okay.
That if the Secretary of State himself declares you to be not aligned with the foreign policy of the United States, you could lose, your green card. But these are both, or rather your visa, these are both U.S. citizens, so they could order him to be deported.
This is some incredible reporting, as always.
I'm going to tell you something quick that I just remembered.
Yeah.
By the way, there was an order, a temporary protective order, restraining order that his attorney submitted so that he wouldn't be moved out of Vermont, where we were. When I got in the plane to come to New York to JFK, they said his name. The flight attendants did. So there may have very likely been an intent to take him out of the state of Vermont. His attorneys were not aware. I asked them, hey, why are my flight attendants saying his name, as asking whether this person is in the flight?
That's remarkable.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to have a lot more.
All right. So let me actually show you these things. So people are protesting. Is that in defense of, that Mohsen Mahdawi? Mahdawi. I need to see the Arabic version of this to be able to read read this. Mohsen Mahdawi. All right, so people in Vermont are protesting. Look at this. Stand with Palestine, end the occupation, please. There's Mahmoud Khalil as well, but freedom. So what? I don't know. Stop disappearing people. Yeah, basically, let's allow everyone in. I don't understand what these people are protesting for. Stop illegal deportation. Oh, here, free Mohsen Mahdawi. No kidnapping in Vermont. So this is the account that posted this. Is the Party for Socialism and Liberation. Hundreds of Vermonters gathered outside the Northwest State correctional facility in, I don't know. Okay, so this is what's happening. Let's go to, actually, let's look at the video of his arrest. Rabbit, anti-Semite. Okay, so I'm not going to read the caption because I don't want to. I want you guys judge what's happening here yourself. So let's watch his arrest. So this is where he went to get his citizenship test or whatever. I don't know, oath, citizenship test or citizenship oath. But they were waiting for him and they arrested because he was in hiding. He was after they got the Khalil guy, he was worried, and then they got him because they know he's showing up for his citizenship. So watch this. That's him. Got him. Up. Wait, hold on a second. Bye-bye. So you know how on this channel we're not black and white, right? Sometimes I have some disagreements with the Trump administration, and sometimes I agree. This I fully support. This I fully agree, right? Look at. By the way, who was that other guy that we did the stream on? The Khalil. It was his Mahmoud Khalil. I don't know what Khalil. The guy that, you know how one of our members were upset and she left because she was like, why are you supporting the Trump administration? They require due process. I'm like, well, he's getting due process. I like, no, he wasn't getting, and then so he got due process, and the court decided that yeah, he can get deported. So he got due process. They arrested him, and people were like, oh no, he's not getting due process. And no, actually, he got his day in court, and the court actually sided with the Trump administration. And that's what I said in that last live stream. And some people were raging like, no, I mean, how could you support this? This is fascism. I'm like, he's gonna get a chance to defend himself, and he did, and he lost, as he should have. Yeah, he got due process. He did get it. So let's look at. I don't understand how people are saying this is illegal. Like, you know who else is calling this illegal? Bernie Sanders. I'm gonna. Oh, people are thanking me in the chat. Thank you, guys. I'm gonna soon read the comments that Gene started. Let me actually read what Bernie Sanders is saying here. Bernie Sanders saying Mohsen Mahdawi. Guys, can somebody write his Arabic name, because I can read Arabic, pronounce them better in Arabic than in English. Mohsen Mahdawi of White River Junction, Vermont, was illegally detained by ICE. How is this illegal, Mr. Bernie Sanders? Can you explain to me? How is this illegal? This is according to the law. This is okay. Oh, this is according. Like, it's illegal for a country's enforcement officers to be to basically remove somebody from the country that is doing things that would have gotten his green card or visa revoked from him. Like, once they do the things that they wouldn't. I don't understand. How is this illegal? So I'm actually looking up the law. let me see what the law is. And these are, okay. Here are the U.S. laws that allow revocation of visa or green card for supporting terrorist group. Immigration and Nationality Act, INA 2. Okay, let me make sure. These are weird names. This is correct. Okay. I want to make sure that it doesn't hallucinate, so I have to double check it to verify that it's not hallucinating. Okay, I double checked it. It's not hallucinating. Okay, Immigration and Nationality Act, INA 2.212A3B defines terrorist activity and makes a person inadmissible, basically meaning ineligible for a visa or green card if they engage or incite terrorist activity, provide material support to terrorist organizations, are members of terrorist organization, endorse or espouse terrorist activity. So you don't even have to do terrorist activity, you just need to support it. A lawful permanent resident or green card. Okay, so another law, basically, that's for people who can just like, so another one's INA 237A4B. Is that based on that a lawful permanent resident green card holder can be removed, deported if they have engaged in terrorist activity or are members of a designated terrorist organization. And then we have the U.S. Patriot Act. So these are multiple laws that could be used. The U.S. Patriot Act expanded definitions of material support and broadened the government's ability to deport or deny entry to individuals associated with terrorist group, even if support was indirect. So, Mr. Bernie Sanders, Senator, you don't know, guys. I am an Iranian Canadian, and apparently I can look up the law, and your goddamn senator can't. I'm not even American. I don't know the U.S. history. I haven't studied U.S. law. I'm not a senator. I'm not even a U.S. citizen. I am a Canadian citizen. I'm Iranian, and I have a Canadian citizenship. And it seems within 5 seconds, I became more educated on the legality of what is being done compared to a fucking senator that the Americans have voted for. This is so easy. How is this illegal, Mr. Bernie Sanders? How is this illegal? I just looked it up. This is easy. I mean, people say you could just literally Google it. I mean, it's actually easier than Googling these days because now we have ChatGPT, Grok, and I don't know, Gemini and Claude. Because with Googling, you have to type it and then you have to check multiple pages and then you have to find where in the page is saying this and then you have to interpret it. It's actually easier these days. It's faster than Googling. So Googling, maybe even if Googling was harder for you, now you could just check with AI. By the way, guys, make sure that if you're checking with AI, sometimes AI hallucinates. So when it gives you the answer, after it gives you the answer, you could type, make sure this is correct, and then turn the search option so that whatever answer it gave you, then it actually, the AI goes and Googles it and verifies that it didn't hallucinate. Okay, so make sure you do that. So let's see what else he's saying. Mohsen, okay. Vermont was illegally, okay, so Mohsen Mahdawi of White River Junction, Vermont was illegally detained by ICE during what was supposed to be the final step in his citizenship process. Mr. Mahdawi, a legal resident of the U.S., until the government decides to revoke its immigration status. You could be legal all day for 5 years, and then after 5 years, if the government says like, okay, I'm revoking your immigration status, after that, if you stay in the country, that would be legal. The fact that you were legal in the country, that doesn't mean that now you're not. Okay, this is too simple. This is too easy. It must be afforded due process. Okay, must be afforded due process. Okay, sure. Just like you got due process for the other guy, and then he got his day in the court, and then the court will say, no, the government has every right to remove this. Okay, under the law and immediately release. Why? Okay, so look, this is a contradiction. Look at this. He must be afforded due process. Okay, yeah, sure. Give him due process. That doesn't make his arrest illegal under the law and immediately release. Why should he be immediately released? That's the contradiction to getting due process. Mr. Senator, you contradicted yourself. Due process means that we shall see. Immediately released means no due process. Immediately released means no due process. These two contradict each other. You fucking moron. Let me actually, I'm getting too hyped up. Let me actually see what you guys are saying before we go to the next slide. Because this person from Vermont is also saying something. Okay, well, Andy became a new member. Thank you so much, Andy, for being a member. Guys, by the way, we have, I think the last time we did something like this when somebody got deported, we did a member only stream. That was a member only stream. So we are now doing at least one member only stream every week. So if you become a member, make sure you check out our member only streams, and thank you for supporting the show. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Nidal is saying now he's trying to play the victim and deny he supported Hamas. Do they think we are stupid? I will verify. I will actually go through that. Like, I will verify. Like, if that, yeah, good question. Let me see. That Jewish, I don't know that you have a long name. I'm not going to read it. Saying, Armin, I worked U.S. immigrant law. Then okay, then why are you not typing properly? He is barred for U.S. citizen as a member of terrorist organization, and he lied on his LPR application. Okay. And somebody saying Tariya. I mean, this could be legitimately a form of Tariya. Okay, I'll allow it. Chuck Norris is saying my brother was teaching at Columbia and he was sent home for his own safety. Oh my God, Jesus Christ! That shows that this is a violation of the Civil Rights Code, right? Jack is saying that is making it unsafe for certain students to be there. Jack is saying governments should have the right to decide who gets citizenship in the current world order. In a utopic future where everyone are liberal, tolerant, and peaceful, this wouldn't be necessary. Yeah, because if you're not a threat, I mean, if you're not a threat, then you should be allowed. Like, obviously, in a world, if we get to a world where people no person is a threat, obviously this would be easier if we get there. Saying Armin going and hiding is inconsistent with showing up at a DHS office. So yeah, I don't know the details of when he was hiding. Then I think he was in hiding until they tricked him, saying like, "Oh, come get your citizenship," and he showed up, and then they arrested him. I think that was the detail. Jack saying, did he resist arrest and refuse to comply with the police, or did he accept and cooperate with the authorities? I mean, when he was in hiding, but when they came for him when he was doing his citizenship test, I don't think he resisted there. I mean, that would be so dumb. Obviously, you cannot outrun the police once they're already there. Andy is saying, I also think guests to a country should not be involved in swaying, influencing domestic politics until you're a citizen. The only exemption should be for foreign governments visiting. Well, I think you should just abide by the things that won't violate your conditions for your visa. You could just look up. I mean, if they say like, oh, if the law says you could be like, oh, I don't like Trump or I like Trump, and that would not violate your visa condition, your immigration status, then go ahead and say that. But then if you say like, oh, I like Hamas, then okay, so no, you're fucking out, because you should just go look at the law. Like, okay, I have a green card, I'm in the United States. What can I do? Okay, based on the law, what would make them revoke my citizenship status? It's already written in the law. Just go check that. It's not that hard. Let's look at this lady. Who is this? Representative Becca Balint. Who is she? Mom, teacher, Vermonter, writer, congresswoman. Okay, she's a congresswoman of Vermont. Let's see what she's saying. So wait, Bernie Sanders is a senator from Vermont, I think, and then this is a congresswoman from Vermont. So let me read her caption saying Vermont is enraged that the Trump administration is sending masked men. Okay, masked men is not because they are a threat to you. Masked men is because you are a threat to them. Why are you trying to make it seem like they are more intimidating? The reason why they're masked is because your people are intimidating them. Because you have the leftists in the United States are becoming more terroristic, and they might find these people and go after their families. Like, oh, they're sending masked men. Oh my God, masked men. Yeah, that doesn't mean that they are becoming more of a threat to you, that means you are a threat to them. That's why they're masked, you idiot. If they are masked. I don't know if she's making this up, by the way. Masked men to snatch up illegal, because these your people, the people who support you fucking woke mujahideen justice warriors, you are like, I don't know, you are actually, I can't even say what you're doing. The things that they're doing these days, these are domestic terrorists, right? They're becoming more terroristic. So obviously, if I'm arresting any of these people who deport, if I'm one of the officers, I'm going to be worried. Like, they're going to use my face, find my identity, find my address, and they're going to come for my family. Like, what the hell? Like, of course, like, I hope they're masked, actually, now that I think about it. I don't know, maybe she's making this up, but now that I think about it, I hope that they are masked, because these are people who just doing providing service to society, and then they're going to be punished for it. By the way, guys, I'm putting my mic here now. Is my audio better relative to before? And it's like to snatch up legal residents. No, not anymore. Why is this? Okay, that was a senator who doesn't apparently understand how the law works. And now this congresswoman, guys, I am not an expert in law. Okay, I just have access to the internet, and I know Americans in the chat. Apparently I understand the law more than your senators and congresswomen now here. Legal residence. Yeah, you are a legal resident until the government decides that, your green card is now invalid. Now you're no longer a legal resident. It's just that simple. Legal residents to essentially disappear them with no evidence. No evidence. I will show you the evidence. Good people across this country are standing up and resisting the law. Standing up and resisting the law. This congresswoman is encouraging the citizens, the people of the United States, to resist the law. Basically speaking up against the rule of law. Good job. I don't recognize America at this point. Oh my God. Yeah, America that actually decides who is allowed in this country. That's an America that you don't recognize. Okay, sure. Release Mohsen Mahdawi now. Okay, let's listen to her. Let's see what she has to say.
I am enraged, and I speak for so many of my constituents. I was at a town hall last night, and the topic of his detention came up. We are furious that the Trump administration is sending masked, unmarked cars to pick up legal residents to...
Wait, was it masked? Let's actually look at this again.
I am enraged, and I speak for so many of my constituents. I was at a town hall last night, and the topic of his detention came up. We are furious that the Trump administration is sending masked.
So that guy is not masked. As he's saying mask, I see somebody who's not masked. I think this other guy might be masked.
Unmarked cars to pick up legal residents to essentially disappear them because they are speaking their minds. We have free speech.
Disappear them? What do you mean disappear them? They're going to, like, they're still there. This is not a magic show. What are you talking about?
In this country, we have due process for every person who is living.
Okay, these two are masked. That first person was not masked.
Within our borders, and it is inhumane. It's also...
And I think that other person should have been masked. I don't know why she's like, masked? Oh my God. Hey, if you kick me out of the country, can you not make it with masked men? Because what the fuck does that... Okay. Like, how does that make a difference?
An indication that this administration, the Trump administration, is not interested in upholding the rule of law or the Constitution, and it is up to good people across this nation to stand up and...
Upholding the Constitution. Where does it say in the Constitution that your country has to give the privilege to everybody with whatever mindset or whatever values that come to the United States? Your government has the duty to just welcome them with no conditions, with no filtering for what they stand for. Where does in the Constitution say that? Where does it say that? No country would be able to survive with those values, with those standards.
I am demanding from the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, and the Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, that they provide us with a certification of the evidence that they have against Mr. Mahdawi, and that they must appear before congressional committees and give us the evidence that they have for this detention. This should enrage everyone, and this has a chilling effect across this country because it is about due process, it's about free speech. And when you take it into context, when you have the president saying yesterday with the president of El Salvador that citizens of the United States are next, they're going to be the next ones who are sent to a supermax prison in El Salvador. He has already said he's going after birthright citizenship. Men and women.
Okay, birthright citizenship. He's not going to be able to go after that, unfortunately. But I wish he could. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't make any sense if you could. Okay, but and also disappearing citizens. Honestly, if that ever happens, we're going to speak against it. Like, citizens obviously have a lot more rights than in the United States than non-citizens, and citizenship has to mean something. You know, so you shouldn't be able to do that to citizens. I don't know if Trump. I don't think Trump would be able to ever do that. But if he does, yeah, okay, well, we'll speak against that because that would be against the law. But but again, this is a misdirection. This is trying to tell you to make you look at something else, because what's happening here is legal. Like, there's something legal is happening, and you cannot convince us that this is illegal, so you actually point to something that would be actually illegal if it happens. Okay, well, if that happens, we'll talk about that. What's happening here is completely legal.
Women across this country have to stand up and resist what this administration is doing, because this has stopped being America at this point. This has stopped being a country that believes in due process if we allow things like this to happen.
What the hell? Okay, first of all, did this guy not get due process? Let me actually check. Well, let me actually play the first video while I check this. And also, is it required to get due process? But let's actually share this tab and then listen to this. Hold on. Let me really quickly check. It's very easy, guys. Okay, is Mohsen Mahdawi going to get due process? Okay, and then I will click the search function on, and we'll turn that on. I will let that go, and then I will also go to another tab and ask, do they legally need to be given due process before their green card is revoked? Okay, so we could check these at the same time. So that will check this. Okay, I don't know if people actually check that. Palestinian Malawi team has filed with corpus containing, well, the emergency court. Okay, let me actually tell it. Get to the point. I didn't need all of this wall of text. I just need to get to the point. Yes, Mohsen Mahdawi is getting due process. A judge has blocked his deportation for now, and his legal team is challenging the arrest in court. There you go. He's getting due process. So the way a lot of people are like, oh, then why is the executive branch trying to get them out without due process? Because that's how it works. The executive branch tries to do what it does as much as possible, and the judicial branch is supposed to try to stop the executive branch. And it's supposed to be a competition. It's supposed to be back and forth. And every time the judicial branch, even if the executive branch is trying to expedite things, the judicial branch has enough time to block it and give the due process. They're not going to be be able to like do it before the courts stop it. So you can see, I just checked this, and apparently, yes, Mahdawi's legal team has filed a habeas corpus petition contending that his detention is a retaliatory act targeting his pro-Palestine activism and identity, thereby violating his First Amendment and due process rights. In response, U.S. District Judge William Sessions III issued an emergency order preventing Mahdawi's removal from Vermont or the United States while the case is under review. The arrest has well, the emergency court currently safeguards Mahdawi from deportation. The ultimate determination of whether he will receive full due process, including a fair hearing and the opportunity to contest the charges against him, remains pending as legal proceedings continue. But I said get to the point, and the point was, yes, Mohsen Mahdawi is getting due process. A judge has blocked his deportation for now, and his legal team is challenging the arrest in court. There you go. It's happening. Okay. And then I asked the other tab, which we were like checking the law. I was asking, is due process like legally in the United States, if you want to revoke someone's green card, legally, do they require due process? And it says, yes, green card holders basically are entitled to due process under the U.S. Constitution before their green card is revoked. And it goes key points, and it goes into details. But yes, legally, they're required to have due process. So see, I checked that, and they are getting due process. Vermont. So here, this is the same lady. Let's see what she says here. Where is this? This is Democracy Now! So let's listen to her here.
He reached out to all three of you, to Senators Welch and Sanders and you, before saying, I'm being told to come in for this test. I'm worried this is a trap.
Yeah. And so, what I want people to understand is you have a situation, as you said, he has been a green card holder for 10 years. Mr. Mahdawi has been accused of no crime. Okay, this is critically important for people to understand. He's been accused of no crime, went in for his final citizenship.
Again, why do they see accused of no crime? I looked at the law, and that you don't have to be committing a crime for your green card to be revoked. Why? Like, are they arrogant, or like not ignorant, or are they fooling us? Like, do they know that? Because Marco Rubio has explained this in detail to everybody. Do they not watch the news? Do they not follow this? I mean, do they not have access to the internet that look these things up? Like, criminal activity is only one of the 10 reasons why why your green card could be revoked legally. And by the way, somebody in the chat is saying Armin is literally supporting Trump turning the USA into a dictatorship. How is it dictatorship to enforce what is in the fucking law? Is you getting a ticket for like speeding? Is that dictatorship? It's in the law that is written. This is democracy. People have elected their officials. The officials that people have elected have written the law, and the executive branch is enforcing that law. How is that dictatorship? Can somebody explain? Nightman in the chat. How is it dictatorship to actually enforce the fucking law? Can you tell me? Can you follow up with this accusation? It's not like this is a channel that supports Trump with everything. I have criticized Trump many, many times, especially on his tariff policy. Yeah, anti-Islam is saying, yeah, I agree with you. Can somebody clarify? Okay, so Nightman is clarifying. Trump is literally ignoring 9-0 Supreme Court ruling, illegally deporting people against the law. Okay, so apparently you're not following the news. The 9-0 Supreme Court that people are saying he's violating was not about deporting these people, was about that guy that he sent to El Salvador, and the 9-0 Supreme Court is saying that they should facilitate his return. And the word now, the Trump administration is interpreting the word facilitate differently than other people, and now they sent that ruling back to the court to be more clear about what they mean about facilitate. Facilitate mean they actually have to bring him back, or they should just like make it easy for him to come back as much as they can. So now the court is responding with the clarification of what the word facilitate means, and there's a back and forth on that, and they are fighting it as that's how democracy works. That's how liberal democracies work. Liberal democracies work as a challenge between, especially the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch. They constantly disagree with each other and they fight it, and that's how it's supposed to work. Again, if at some point they clarify and it's clear, and the executive branch is still ignoring it and not abiding by it, I will come here and I agree with you that the Supreme Court has clarified what this means, and the executive branch is ignoring it, and I would criticize the Trump administration for ignoring that specific clarified order from the Supreme Court. And I would agree with you on there. I would say, like, okay, the Trump administration on that specific issue is violating what the Supreme Court has made it mandatory for them to do. So, but then What does that got to do with this? You're insane. Like that obviously has nothing to do with this. You're just a bunch of maniacs who don't actually pay attention to what's happening. So Nightman is saying Trump had to facilitate his release. They literally had Bukele over and said that they're not going to do that. Again, the word was with again. This guy is not very smart, so I'm just going to respond to him, and then we're going to go back to this. This has nothing to do with this. Let's say, first of all, I agree with you, and the Trump administration is wrong, and I criticize the Trump administration for ignoring the Supreme Court. This is not that. Do you understand that these are separate issues? Do you understand that when you are so anti-Trump that if you see something against Trump that might actually be a correct criticism, that doesn't mean that all of this is fucking wrong. That could be wrong and this could be right. And again, you don't understand that they're fighting right now over the interpretation of the word facilitate right now. And if the court clarifies that, and if the court tells Trump that, no, this is what you should have been doing based on what we said, and the Trump administration ignores even that, then I would be like, yeah, okay, that's a fair criticism against Trump. I'm not black and white like some of you guys, like fully anti-Trump or fully for Trump. Okay, I could actually have a little bit more of a nuanced view here. Okay, but apparently you can't. You're so far gone that you don't even understand that that's not the case that we're talking about. This is a separate fucking case. You're calling this dictatorship, and you don't even understand. And for justifying your position, you're actually referring to a completely different case. Okay, so let me actually see. Gene is saying, I believe private people protecting the Constitution is exactly how Trump described January 6th. Private people protecting the Constitution. Oh yeah, that's that's actually funny. Yes, okay. Yeah, exactly. For example, when it comes to when it comes to the January 6th and the Trump's position on that and saying that the election was stolen, all of that I think is nonsense, and I'm against Trump on all of those claims. Okay, I'm against Trump on the tariff situation. I would be against Trump if actually the Supreme Court clarifies something and the Trump administration still ignores it. I will be against Trump over there as well. But this right here, this is fucking great. This is not illegal. This is according to law. This is not and even okay, I'm not going to get into that case. This is not dictatorship. This is actually enforcing the laws that is on the books. Okay, so guys, there's multiple things here. Not everything is the same.
Interview. It seems like this was possibly a ruse to get him to show up, then arrested upon his arrival. And again, I want people to understand these were masked, hooded men in plain clothes.
Oh my God, guys, they were masked, okay? They were masked. I mean, I don't know. How does that make a fucking difference? Why is that? Is that illegal? Why are you keep making? Maybe it's illegal. Actually, let me. Is it illegal for you to get arrested by immigration officers if they have masks on or if they are wearing plain clothes? Wait, hold on. I spelled that. Because she keeps saying it. Maybe she knows something about the law that I have to double check. No, it's not illegal for immigration officers like ICE agents to arrest you while wearing masks or plain clothes. Okay, I just guys, I could just let me actually say make sure this is true. I just want to make sure it's not hallucinating. Searching the web. So again, because sometimes they hallucinate. Yes, it is legal for U.S. Immigration and Customs officers to conduct arrests while wearing masks or plain clothes. Okay, so why does she keep mentioning that? Is it because you don't actually have any case against these people? They're like, oh my God, they were wearing masks and they had plain clothes on. Is it because legally your hands are so fucking empty that you keep referring to that? Oh my God.
With an unmarked van.
Carl's saying if they show a badge, it's fine. Yes, unmarked vans. Okay.
Handcuffing him. This is not the America I think many of us thought we lived in.
Oh, okay. Because you thought that you lived in America where the rule of law doesn't apply, lady? Is this your congressman, Americans? Your congresswoman believes that the rule of law doesn't apply. Either she doesn't know the law or she believed in the America that the rule of law did not apply.
And he was not afforded the ability to speak to his attorney right away. He was not afforded due process, the court of law. He's being
Bullshit. Getting due process. I just checked. Bullshit.
attacked because of free speech. This should terrify.
Free speech, that doesn't mean that free speech doesn't mean that a non-citizen gets to stay here without their immigration status being revoked while they're supporting terrorism.
Every single person living in this country, regardless of your citizenship status, they are coming for people because of their beliefs and what they may have said. And you know, I'm so enraged by this.
Look, they're putting a picture of him like so peaceful, so nice. I mean, look at that face. Do you think this person would sympathize with Hamas? Do you think this is a face that is anti-Semitic? I mean, look at him. There's no way. There's no way. Look at the pictures that they
Also
put.
because of who.
I mean, look, they went onto his Instagram and found the most peaceful picture that they could find. They didn't. They're not posting the pictures of him supporting terrorists, which I will show to you soon. They just go and find this one. Okay.
Mahdawi is. He has said in the past that the fight for freedom of Palestine and the fight against anti-Semitism go hand in hand, because injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. He is not someone who is a threat to our supposed international foreign policy interests. And it's critically important that we do not allow Secretary Rubio to make these claims without providing proof, evidence to Congress. He is required to provide certification of his personal determination about Mahdawi's threat to our country.
That's not how any of this works. That's not how any of this works. The immigration officers can arrest you, and then you get your day. You get the court to come do the due process. Like the entire Congress involved.
Congress, that has not happened, and it is clear that.
So wait, so what do you mean? Like what is she saying? Does she think that every single person that the government wants to deport, the entire Congress needs to come and get involved with that? Do you know the rate? Like if you want to deport thousands of people who are, you know how many people actually are required to get deported because they're overstaying their visa, they're violating their visa terms, or many. Do you think every single one of them should be like the entire Congress should get involved with the due process of them? Do you know that you will never be able to? The entire country will come to a halt if you need to get them involved. What the heck?
He is not someone who is a threat to our supposed international foreign policy interests, and it's.
That doesn't matter. You could just say, like, even if he's not a threat, you could be like, yeah, but his values does not align with what we want in this country. So we don't want him here. That's enough. That's what all you need.
Critically important that we do not allow Secretary Rubio to make these claims without providing proof, evidence to Congress. He is required to provide certification of his personal determination.
What
about Mahdawi's threat to our country?
So yeah, every single person, the Rubio needs to go to Congress and basically make the case for every single person the United States wants to deport. So basically, put he should put all of his other things aside. I mean, the Congress would not be able to do anything else.
To Congress, that has not happened, and it is clear that he is abusing his position as Secretary of State, and I won't have it.
No, that's completely within his rights. Actually, everything I read you that the U.S. can do when it comes to deporting people, that is actually defined for the Secretary of State. That is actually Marco Rubio's response. It falls under his department. But let me actually see. Darko is saying the issue is that the next administration could decide something else doesn't align with the values of the country. Well, I mean, the law makes it very clear. The law. I mean, I'm describing it as it doesn't align with values, but the law says when the actual law is supporting for any support for terrorist organization, so it needs to be classified as something that the United States considers a terrorist group. So I mean, it's not just willy-nilly. It's in the law that what this means. So it's a lot more specific if we actually want to go into the details. Yusuf saying, are you also against Trump when it comes to his environmental policies? I mean, I haven't looked exactly what he does with his environmental policies, but his general lack of care for the environment. I mean, I know like the environmentalists sometimes make things more. I know there's some things within the environmentalists that is not actually saving the environment, and they're actually sometimes playing games for their own interests. And I know I do care about the environment, and I think there needs to be policies in protecting the environment. But I think sometimes people on the right exaggerate, and they just completely dismiss the importance of taking care about caring about the environment. So I don't exactly know. I haven't followed the exact policies I'm not going to be able to criticize him. I just know that his general lack of care for the environment. I do criticize that, but I'm not able to tell you whether I support him or criticize his policies because I haven't been following that. I do think that we should be United States should be drilling more for oil. To become more energy independent, even more than it is right now, right? Because a lot of people don't understand the best way to get to green energy is not to limit fossil fuels and slow down the economy, because a faster economy will get to green energy faster than a slower economy. So I don't agree with not drilling. So I do. So if Trump wants more drilling in Alaska, I do think that's a good policy. Anyways, let's listen to these people. I want to focus on this topic. So and then after that, I want to go to see what this Mahdawi guy actually said, like his support for terrorism and shit like that. So let's listen to this.
Mahdawi's lawyer told CNN, quote, his detention is an attempt to silence those who speak out against the atrocities in Gaza. It is also unconstitutional. What do you think?
Free speech is incredibly important. What he was doing is not speech. By his own admission, he was the leader of a group.
That's not a good defense. That's not a good. I mean, I'm probably going to agree with what he's saying after this. Okay, somebody is spamming by saying, "Bring back free speech. Bring back free speech." Mods, can you just ban this person? I'm actually the spam. Thank you, guys. Thank you for mods DFing. Remove this person. Thank you. But actually, that spamming was actually very much in line with what I was about to say, because this person was just basically spamming the entire chat by saying bring back free speech. And this person, who seems to be wanting to support the deporting this guy, he also saying that what he said is not speech. That is not the right way to defend his deportation. Okay, the point is that what he said is speech, and that's why what he said, according to free speech standards in the United States, is not a crime. Okay? Sure, he didn't commit a crime. Okay? That means that he's not going to be charged with a crime. But he could still be deported. He could still be deported. Because as I read to you, the list of reasons why a country can deport somebody is not just committing a crime. So yeah, what he said, the First Amendment does apply to him, in the sense that you cannot charge him with a crime, but you can still deport him.
Free speech is incredibly important. What he was doing is not speech. By his own admission, he was the leader of a group, CUAD and Columbia SJP, that engaged in acts of...
Yeah, actually, Amir is saying free speech means you say whatever you want. It doesn't mean there are no consequences. It means that there are no criminal consequences. It doesn't mean, it means that the government, so free speech means that your speech will not be categorized as a crime. Okay, most speech, like some speech could still be categorized as a crime. For example, if you say like, hey, if somebody does this to that person, I will pay them this much. That's a speech that could, so it's free speech maximalism, not free speech absolutism. So free speech maximalists, unlike free speech absolutists, consider some speech should still be a crime. Like even in the US, which has the highest amount of free speech, even in the US, they still consider some speech as a crime. But because most speech would not be considered a crime, that means the vast majority, almost all, would not be considered a crime. That means that if you say something, there will still be consequences to your speech. like, for example, you could get fired, you could get deported, you could be shamed by society, you could get your social media account like removed or something like that. There will be many consequences. Free speech, when it comes to the government, means that it's just not going to be a crime. That's what free speech means. Doesn't mean that there's no consequences. It means there's no. It just means from all the consequences that there could be to your speech, calling it a crime is not one of them. That's the consequences that you don't have to worry about. But you could still get deported.
By his own admission, he was the leader of a group, CUAD and Columbia SJP, that engaged in acts that were so horrific they would be crimes if it were committed by a U.S. citizen as well, under Section 233(9)(b). In fact, we just sued in the Southern District of New York the groups that he led for material support for terror. They were handing out, it's not just speech, they were handing out Hamas propaganda, and to the extent that you think it was just
that's expression. So maybe it's not speech, but it's not just freedom of speech, that's freedom of expression. So yeah, he could, yeah, go ahead. Actually, I want you to have that freedom of expression. Hand out Hamas propaganda, let them be free so that we could see that you're doing that and deport your ass.
Propaganda, it literally said that this was a, quote, intentional and coordinated effort to further Hamas's goals and those of the PFLP and the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade. They put that in writing. Jake, when you hire useful idiots as your PR agents, as Hamas did, what you get are useful idiots who put that kind of thing in writing. I hope that the deportation of these two students is not the standard we use going forward, because we risk having an artificially high bar for when to deport students. It is black letter law that there does not need to be a crime, that if you endorse or support a foreign terrorist organization, and be deported, and these people should be.
So again, I mean, I like his conclusion, but I don't like the way he's defending it. This is not a crime, but you could still be deported. Let me actually look at what this guy did. ICE arrests Columbia student activists who endorsed October 7th attack. So finally, we got to why do we think this person deserves to be deported? And let's look at the person that Bernie Sanders or that like Congresswoman and all of these protesters and all of like mainstream, like I'm watching everybody and they're acting like mainstream and alternative media. They're all acting like they're deporting a freaking saint. Right? So I don't know why they don't include these parts that I'm going to read you. And we're saying also, if we were to reverse, oh, sorry, I should have read that faster. Sorry, Jean. Jean is like, I don't know what you want, Armin. So I'm making Jean's job very hard. They're like, oh, Jean is like, oh no, I have to go find it again. It's okay, Jean. Sorry, I'm making. Jean is like, you're giving me stress. Sorry. Jean, don't worry about it. You don't have to go find it. Okay, let me actually read this part. You can start it if you did find it. So wait, what was I saying? Okay, here. Mohsen Mahdawi has said he can empathize with Hamas. So let's look at this guy's history. Okay. Okay. ICE officials detained a Columbia University graduate student who led a coalition of anti-Israel groups and endorsed the October 7th Hamas terrorist attack. I mean, that's enough there to deport. I mean, guys, isn't Germany making it so that if you want to be a citizen in Germany, you actually have to accept Israel as a nation state? You have to actually say, aren't they introducing a law like that? That Germany says, like, yeah, okay, so you have to actually say that Israel has the right to exist for you to be able to be in this country. So how come Germany can do that and the United States can't? Right? Okay, so let's read this. Mohsen Mahdawi had his green card revoked by the Trump administration and was taken into custody on Monday in Burlington. Yeah, I don't know if I'm pronouncing any of this right. Sorry. Where he has scheduled to take a citizenship test. Mahdawi's attorney told The Intercept that Mahdawi was detained for his Palestinian identity, okay, and that he had come to this country hoping to be free to speak about the atrocities he has witnessed. A public ICE database on Monday afternoon listed Mahdawi, who was born in Jordan, as being in custody. Okay, so here's a picture of that. But Mahdawi, a graduate philosophy student in Columbia Schools of General Studies, has also said he can empathize with Hamas over the terrorist group's October 7th slaughter. That honestly should be enough. Guys, do you agree with me? Like, that this is enough to deport somebody? Is this not enough to deport somebody? He said that he can empathize with Hamas over the terrorist group's October 7th slaughter. I mean, guys, we're talking about a Holocaust event, one of the most violent, disgusting, and barbaric acts of terror that we have witnessed. And the guy is like looking at that, like people were raped. And this guy is like, yeah, I can sympathize with that. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, like, yeah, oh, let's protest. And these are the people that you want in the country? That this is the guy, this is your saint? October, and has publicly called for the destruction of Israel. See, like in his recent interviews where he was worried about being arrested and deported, he was like, oh my God, I'm not anti-Israeli. This is a message of love for Israeli people as well. Like, yeah, sure. After now, you're worried about getting arrested. I think last year he honored a commander in the Al-Aqsa I need to see the Arabic is better. Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade. Oh, that's, yeah, okay. A U.S. designated terror group that participated in the attack alongside Hamas. That was actually a post that he made. I think it was one of his posts here. See, these are his posts. Mohsen, this is his post. So you saw like how on the news they were showing him like in the moment of Zen, his touristy pictures, having fun, this peaceful person. They're not showing these pictures that he posted celebrating these terrorists. I think this is his cousin. I think his cousin was, I mean, I'm not sure, but let's read on maybe. I think his cousin is also fighting in Palestine as a terrorist, and he posted a picture of him celebrating him. So, yeah, they didn't show that in the news. He honored a commander. I mean, I'm not in the news that I showed. Again, I'm not one of those people who say, oh, mainstream media is not showing you this, because they probably are. I'm saying in the part that I'm showing you that they tried to making him look like a saint. In that part, they didn't show any of this. Terror group that participated. Okay, so most recently, Mahdawi served as a co-president of Colombia's Palestinian Student Union, a coalition of anti-Israeli Israel student groups, including Colombia's Suspended Students for Justice in Palestine and Jewish Voice for Peace chapters. The union has organized protests calling for Colombia's divestment from Israel alongside Columbia University Apartheid Divest, the student organization behind the illegal encampments that plagued the school last spring and led to violent storming of a campus building, Hamilton Hall. Yeah, so he's a leader in this illegal activities. That's good enough to get him deported. Anybody who's a leader in any of these things should be deported. The union has, I mean, anybody who participates, to be honest, but start with the leaders. Okay, let's go. Mahdawi's detention is the Trump administration's latest move in the effort to deport pro-Hamas green card and visa holders, fulfilling one of President Donald Trump's campaign promises. Mahdawi joins two other. Yeah, I mean, people are saying this is illegal. This was a campaign promise that people knew and Americans voted for. Like, this was one of the Trump's campaign promises, and Americans voted and said yes to that. Americans said yes to that. So what the hell? How is this fascistic or dictatorial? This was part of the campaign promise that people voted for. So, if anything, this is democracy at work. This is democracy at work. When Trump said, I'm going to do this, and people were like, yes, please, and they said voted for Trump promising this, and now it's happening. How is this not democratic? That is democracy at work. That is the best example of democracy at work. And people are saying it's fascistic. Mahdawi joins two other Columbia students who have faced removal proceedings. Yeah, this should be in the thousands. Like, More. One on Friday, a federal immigration judge ruled that Mahmoud Khalil. See, guys, due process. People are like, this is fascistic. What happened to due process? Here's your due process. This is a federal immigration judge ruled that Mahmoud Khalil, a fellow protest leader, that guy that people say like he's not getting his due process, he did, and the judge said, out with you. A fellow protest leader and encampment negotiator who has been detained since March 9th can be deported. And then Ranjani Srinivasan, another Colombia activist, chose to self-deport. Good. After the Trump administration pulled her student visa. Good. Saving money for the taxpayer. The garbage takes itself out. Mahdawi is facing a deportation order that would send him to the West Bank, which he called a kind of death sentence. In the West Bank, Colombia declined to comment on Mahdawi's arrest. Wait, hold on. I have a video for this. He called it a death camp? A death sentence? Sorry. Let me see if I have a video for this. Wait, I had a video for this where the Colombia said preaching nothing. Oh yeah, I have here. Let's see what Mahdawi said, because he's like, oh, don't send me out. I would die. Well, let's listen to you. Why are you so afraid of dying when you said that this is the best thing that could ever happen to anybody? Listen to this. This is him, by the way. So let's listen to this.
But because there's nothing more honorable than dying for a noble cause, for freedom, for humanity, and for justice.
Okay, so you seem to be very interested in doing the most noble thing in the world, which is dying for a good cause. So why are you like, oh, don't send me out, this is going to be a death sentence? I mean, didn't you just say that's the most best thing anybody could do? I mean, I don't know. This doesn't seem. Oh, by the way, I have more videos of him talking. Do you guys want to see that? Let's see what kind of a person this is. Let me see. What is this? Let's see. Okay, here. I have a video of him. Let's see what his views are. Okay, hold on.
The dream that Israel and Zionists have sold to Jewish people, that we are providing you with a safe homeland, is not true. A Jewish person feels more safe anywhere in the world than they feel in Israel. And this has to end. A dream that Israel...
Okay. That's not actually true. I don't know what he's talking about. Anyways, let's go back to this. Okay, let's go back to this. I will read some of your comments soon. By the way, guys, if you want to send super chats, we will also read super chats, and super chats are a really good way to support this channel grow. Okay, so we do, and also thank you guys for becoming members. I appreciate that. All right, let's see. I will be either living or imprisoned or killed by the apartheid system in the West Bank. Okay, but again, that's what you said is the best thing that could happen. So why are you complaining? He told The Intercept on Monday. Mahdawi has long espoused. I mean, maybe you should have thought about that. Maybe you shouldn't have violated the terms of your visa. I mean, I'm actually glad that you did, because the smarter ones wait until they become a citizen before they do such things. You know, that's why you should just not allow people from these countries, from these areas, to come here, because if they were smart, they would just keep quiet until they become citizen, and then when they're citizen, then they become undeportable, and they could say whatever they could basically start spreading their poison. That's why the best thing that the government could do is just be like, you know what, I don't care, even if you, I don't know, I cannot tell if you're being honest or not, so how about we just don't, anybody that comes from any of these countries, you know, we cannot risk it. Okay, we cannot risk it. Just, we don't accept. Again, I know that's harsh because some people might actually deserve it, but again, as a country, as a government of a country, your main responsibility is to the citizens of to the safety and security of the country, and also the values that make this country great, right? So Mahdawi has long espoused his hatred for Israel. He has said in the media interviews that he grew up in Palestine, in a Palestine refugee camp and has served as a leader in anti-Israel campus groups since first moving to the United States more than a decade ago. In another interview, he recalled throwing rocks at Israeli military tanks when he was a child. Okay, wow. Okay, now he says Hamas is a product of the Israeli occupation. Yeah, everything is the Jewish people's fault. He told a New England newspaper 2 weeks after the terror attack. Okay, so the terror October 7th happened, and he wants to blame the Jews for it instead of the people who actually did that. He sympathizes with the people who did do October 7th and blames the Israelis for it. Wow. Mahdawi, according to the newspaper, also helped pen an October 14, 2023 statement issued by anti-Israel group at Columbia that said the Palestinian struggle for freedom is rooted in international law under which occupied peoples have the right to resist the occupation of their land. Yeah, so this is support for terrorism right here. And then it says, if every political avenue available to Palestinians is blocked, we should not be surprised when resistance and violence breaks out, the statement said. Okay, yep, this is support for terrorism, clearly. Later in December, during a 60-minute interview, Mahdawi said he empathizes with Hamas and argued that the terrorist group's October 7th attack, which killed nearly 1,200 Israelis, should not be looked in a vacuum. Well, this is clear support for terrorism. I did not say that I justify what Hamas has done. I said I can empathize. To empathize is to understand the root cause and to not look at any event or situation in a vacuum. This is for me that path moving forward, he said. Yeah, to understand and to empathize are different things. You could be like, hey, I understand an event, I'm explaining it, I'm not endorsing it. The word empathize is more in the endorsement category rather than in the explanation category. So bullshit. In August, Mahdawi posted pictures onto his, especially with this history right here. In August, Mahdawi, am I pronouncing his name right? I don't care, actually. In August, Mahdawi posted pictures to his Instagram account honoring the martyrdom of his cousin, Maysara. I wish this was written in Arabic. Maysara Masharaka. Did I just cast a spell? Okay, who served as a prominent field commander in the military wing of Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade. Yep. Okay, so your cousin was a terrorist and you're celebrating him. Mahdawi praised Masharaka as a fierce resistance fighter who had been fighting since he was 17, adding that he spent 7 years in an Israeli prison. Here is so this is what he said. Here is Misra, who offered his soul as a sacrifice for the homeland and for the blood of the martyrs as a gift for the victory of Gaza. Yeah, this is supporting terrorism. And in defense of the dignity of his homeland and his people against the vicious Israeli occupation in the West Bank, Mahdawi wrote in the post. There you go. Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Look, this is the post. Yeah, supporting terrorists. Great. Yeah, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out, man. These are the guys, if you want to hear, this is one post. If you want to see the caption. And here's another post. So, yeah, deport. Now I'm in line with you guys completely in the chat. If you say deport, yeah, get this fucking. I mean, unbelievable. The progressives in the United States, this is the guy that they're defending. Oh, yeah, we put the name in Arabic? You do? Oh, by the way, Darko just got 5 membership gifts. Thank you, Darko. Appreciate that. Appreciate. Thank you, guys. Again, supporting us with memberships or super chats really helps this channel, makes us able to focus a lot more on spending more time on this channel. So I appreciate all the support that we're getting. And guys, if you don't want to do super chats or become a member, please like the stream, because the likes and comments after the show, the comments that you leave after the show, that really helps. Oh, we're getting spammed again, guys. Make sure you like this stream, because it shows that we're being very effective. If people are coming back here to spam this live stream, that means that we're getting on someone's terrorist sympathizers' nerves. That's why they're spamming us here, because maybe it's because we're being effective. Okay, so, oh no, wait a minute. This guy is, I don't know what this guy's point is. Anyways, but we're being spammed. And who removed them? And D, again, thank you so much for the admins here for keeping the chat clean. I appreciate you guys. And also I really appreciate Gene spending this much time. Again, I have 2 shows today. Guys, by the way, I have a second show coming up, which is about Trump basically removing the budget of Harvard, basically slashing their grants by more than $2 billion because of Harvard's support for anti-Israeli protests and their wokistani agenda. So that's going to be in the member only stream that we're going to be doing right after I finish this. And again, I put the link to that in the live chat. And also the link to that show is in the description, but you could also see on the homepage of the channel. If you look at the live section, you could click on it. And right after I finish this, I'm going to go over there and we're going to go do that. So the title of that show is going to be Trump slams Harvard for anti-Israeli protests and woke policies. And again, that's going to be something I'm going to be defending as well. I'm going to show you people in the media acting like this is illegal, that this is a violation of free speech. And then we're going to go basically destroy that fucking nonsense as well. Okay, so right after we finish this, I'll see you guys on that stream right after. If you're a member, okay, so because this is how we thank our members, people who become members of this channel, right? So let me actually read this last paragraph here. Months earlier, at January 2024 campus protest, Mahdawi told a crowd of students that there's nothing more honorable than dying for a noble cause. Yeah, I just showed you that, by the way. In addition to serving as the co-president of Colombia's Palestinian Student Union, Mahdawi is also a visionary advisor for the Colombia Buddhist Association and a member of Colombia Students for Justice in Palestine chapter. Okay, so there's this information. Okay, so this is obviously a terrorist sympathizer, and his deportation is completely both legally justified, morally justified, practically justified. It's all good, right? Yes. Okay, let me see what Amir was saying. Amir saying also, if we were to reverse roles, someone says Greater Israel and then he gets deported, the Wokies won't rush to his aid. Yeah, that's actually, you know, this double standard in the next stream that we're going to be doing regarding the Trump's removal of more than $2 billion of grants to Harvard, which is a major hit, by the way. This double standard, we're going to see that there, because a lot of people who are saying, oh, this is illegal, if Harvard campuses were becoming less friendly to Black people, these people would be completely supporting any government who wants to punish Harvard for that. But now that Harvard is becoming less safe and less welcoming to Jewish students on campus, these people think like, oh, this is anti-free speech. This is literally fascism. Fascism used to mean governments that basically kill people in the millions for their ethnicity and burn their bodies in concentration camps and stuff like that. But now it means that the privilege of getting funded is being taken away from you because you're not actually furthering the interests of society. We're going to go into the details of that in the next stream. So guys, before we end this one, before we end the stream, don't forget to like the stream, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to hit the bell notification. This channel, we try to keep it objective here, okay? So we're not like completely on one side or another. like we're not going to be completely, it's not tribalistically supporting one side. Any side that says anything that we think is wrong, we're going to call it out. So that's why it's harder to grow this channel, because sometimes like you're defending Trump and you get a lot of Trump supporters here, and then Trump does something that we criticize and then we lose them. That's why it's harder to grow this channel, because we try at least to be as objective as possible. So if you appreciate that, make sure you like the stream, and if you want to see more of that, subscribe and hit the bell notification, because that's what we do here. Okay. And then people who are members, I saw you got membership gifts today. Who got, so let me see. Yeah, Darko just got 5 membership gifts. So people who just got memberships, you could come to the next stream as well. So I'm going to end this stream right now. Again, let me just put the link to the next stream, which is member only. I'm just going to catch a 10-minute break, maybe drink some water, go to the washroom and do stuff, catch my breath. And then I'll see you on the next stream as soon as my break is over, as soon as I feel like I took enough break. So go, if you're a member, I'll see you on the other side. And again, thank you, Gene, and I saw Nima in the chat, and thank you to all the volunteers, Dee, Nina, everybody. Thank you guys. Carl, I appreciate all of you. Thank you, Amir, and long live Atheist Republic. Yes, fantastic. Thank you, Amir. See you guys soon.